Welcome back to Retail Therapy. My name's Will DeFries. Barrett Dudley, how we doing today?
Oh, man. Little MDW weekend action. Mm-hmm. That's actually Memorial Day weekend that I just said there. So really just, I'm gonna rescind that second weekend. It's just a little MDW action. But yeah, I'm feeling good, you know? High 90s.
Sorry, I forgot to light our candle
Long
before
weekend.
the episode, and I'm not willing to go through the episode without a a Velobox candle going in front of us.
Yeah,
it's
well,
not something I'm willing to do.
That makes sense. We have to stay on brand while recording.
We do.
Especially for the people on YouTube out there that can see us. Speaking of the visual language of the show, if I look a little glowier than usual, it's because I've procured a new self tanner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How's it going for you?
I think I like it. Am I orange? Am I giving orange?
No.
Okay.
Not that I can tell.
All right, that's good. Well, I'll link it in the listener digest.
Okay.
But there's an influencer called Sivan Isla, I think, that Laura's been following for a while, and she's got her own line, of skincare and whatnot, and self tanners, and it's hers. I read the brand. His name is slipping my mind right now, so you have to pay attention to the digest. I'll pull it up here. I'll pull it up. But did you know that you're supposed to have a tanning mitt to do self tanner?
Yeah, I did know this.
Okay.
Sally has a tanning mitt that I would often put on back in the day before weddings, before major events, before group dinners, whatever it was. And yeah, I'd put the mitt on. I kind of liked the mitt.
So this is like I think I figured this out last summer, but it's a fairly recent revelation for me, and it just makes such a world of difference. But here's my question. I'm glad to hear that Sally is potentially has an answer for this as well. How do you self tan your back?
You ask your boyfriend or your fiance or husband to
come
do it.
Put the mitt on and
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I got real good at the shoulders into the center of the back, and then she'd turn around in the mirror and say, "You missed this spot. It looks terrible." And then I'd have to apply a new layer and do all the blending. It really takes a sense of artistry in order to sit down and do that.
It sounds like you got pretty good at a little airbrushing and tan blending.
Yeah,
over the course of the years.
Painting has never been my strong suit when it comes to the creative arts, but I do feel as though I got a little look into what it would feel like, maybe putting down a base layer of paint for a sunset or for some sort of, I don't know, scenic view.
I feel like maybe we should get into painting.
I would love to.
Sally's got her pottery going.
The issue for me is simply that I'm too lazy to watch a 5-minute YouTube video that would be the starter points of oil painting. I just need to do that, and then maybe I'll do it.
I just want to walk into like Bob's art shop or whatever that one is up north, and just be like,
"Hey, I'm trying to hit a vibe.
Set it up for me." I think the sneaky part is that to set it up for us is probably like $650. I don't think painting's cheap based on the price of paintings.
No, yeah, yeah. I mean, if I'm jobless, I have not gone more than like 2 weeks without doing work since I was about, I don't know, 15 years old at this point. And so I would like to have like months off at some point in my life where I can just do whatever I want. And I like to imagine that I would just go somewhere quiet and just paint for a while, even though I don't do that when I have free time now.
Here's the product. Her brand is Luxe Unfiltered, and I went with the Supernatural Tanning Mousse.
I think I've seen Luxe Unfiltered somewhere around the crib.
Yeah.
I've been getting down with a little more of a routine when it comes to the face lately.
Okay.
I've been doing a little of the whatever the acid is that you do 3 little dots on your face.
Hyaluronic acid.
Yep. Little hyaluronic acid, little moisturizer action. We've done some ad deals lately that have really given me a deep collection of facial care products, and I love it because I've always just never known what to buy, but now that it's just sitting in my place, I'm like, oh, this is perfect. Like I can actually go down the roads and figure this out. I'm really into bar soap right now.
Yeah.
I received some bar soap in the mail a few weeks ago, and I've been having an issue with our shower because our shower has absolutely no water pressure, and so I just feel like I haven't been getting clean lately. But now that I have this bar soap and I'm just lathering everywhere, I'm wondering why I've been going so long in my life without bar soap. And now I just want bougie bar soaps every time I get in the shower.
Yeah. I'm a bar soap boy. I like there's a Dove, it's like the Dove exfoliating bars.
Okay.
They are not luxurious in price, but I do find them wonderful in the shower.
Luxury can come in all different forms.
Big thing about the bar soaps, you don't want to. It's got to wash off and not make you feel dry. That's the big thing, right?
Okay, I'm new to the game, so you're enlightening me right now.
This is both moisturizing and exfoliating at the same time. I know that sounds oxymoronic, but I think it's happening with the Dove bar soap. TBD. I've tried to look into it. I don't know how badly I'm polluting the water stream with microplastics with these little exfoliating beads within the soap. Probably a lot, but
probably yourself too.
Probably myself. Yeah. Not to be crass, but wasn't there like a study that came out this week that like 100% of male testicles have microplastics in them?
For sure they do. Yeah, for sure they do. Yeah.
So that's a tough look for all of us out there. But I love a bar soap. I love a fancy one. The ones that I used to absolutely love are the Kiehl's body bars.
Yeah.
That come this giant block, but they're like $15-$16 a pop.
So Sally,
I burn through them.
When we first started, they go so fast. Like when we first started dating, Sally went to Cabo San Lucas for a girls' trip, and she went to a restaurant there that has a bunch of shops around it, and she bought me some nice body soap that you have to like cut yourself and like use for whatever. And I was like, I don't think I'm ready for this type of body soap game. Like I need to be deeper into the Scaries universe at this point in order to get in. And I don't think I even used the nice soap she gave me because I was so gun shy. And now I regret it. I wish I had that in my life.
Yeah.
We got some major announcements today. Our most major announcement is that we've started something new. retailpod.substack.com. We're going to be sending out listener companions for all the episodes still. This is going to allow us to be a little more free with sending things out because the mailing list that we've been sending things to previously has just been the straight up Sunday Scaries mailing list. Now we can actually have a mailing list that is directly to retail therapy listeners. It'll be a lot easier for us to get stuff out. It'll be a lot less anxiety inducing to press send on something that doesn't need to go to the entire mailing list. And whether you're a subscriber of the Scaries list now or not, you can go subscribe to retailpod.substack.com and we'll start sending things out from there. Right now, if you go to it, it's probably empty, which is fine. We'll get that suited up in the next few days. But from this point going forward, everything's going to be running through that from Retail Therapy. So please keep an eye out. And this will include today we'll see later. I'm doing my golf thing. I always wanted that to be in newsletter form.
Yep.
So I'll put that all in newsletter form. It's just going to make a lot more sense for us.
Yeah. And it's especially exciting because nobody's doing newsletters.
No, that's the thing. Like when you pioneer something much like this and you're the first to enter the newsletter game, it's a cool feeling.
Yeah, we feel like we're on the absolute bleeding edge of this. So that's just big facts and big news for us.
Yeah. It's cool to be pioneers. It's fun. As always, youtube.com/Sunday Scaries podcast. You can watch everything on there. Barrett is very nice with the mouse on here. And today, especially, we're going to be pulling up a lot of stuff at retail.pod on Instagram. And finally, velobox.com/Sunday Scaries. We have scented candles in stock right now. There's even some on sale. Go check those out. And we also have a new retail therapy candle not in production right now. In
development?
Development. They're doing some analysis for us right now. It's great.
It's in the R&D lab.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. But before we get to today's episode, today's episode is presented by Mugsy. Mugsy makes damn comfortable clothing for guys everywhere. They started by reinventing the jeans game in 2015, and now they make the best jeans, chinos, tops, and joggers ever. Wash Media is actually heading up to do a little circling back event with Mugsy later in June. So if you're in Chicago, please go check it out because we will be hanging out at the Mugsy store and then doing a meetup the next day. But Mugsy works exclusively with some of the best designers and manufacturers from around the world to deliver the finest quality fabrics directly to your door. Their entire goal is to make guys more comfortable at work, at the bar, on the golf course, wherever, by giving them one place to shop. It's made from buttery, soft padded stretch materials that look stylish, but are insanely comfortable, and they're never too baggy, never too tight. Mugsy's just great. They got all the staples for your wardrobe that you need, whether it's a t-shirt, a crew neck, or the pants that we've discussed. You can go in there and get anything and go into your closet and know that you're going to come out looking pretty darn good. First-time customers can get 20% back on their first order right now. All you need to do is head to Mugsy.com, enter your email, and the discount code is automatically added to your cart. That's 20% back on the only jeans and pants you'll ever wear again. Free shipping, free returns on every single order, so the only risk is never knowing how great they truly are. We got to turn producer Randy's mic up right now. Randy has done something just really impressive. I think what's more impressive is that Barrett and I have done something impressive, and that's that we've made Randy retail therapy coded now, and I'm very happy about this. Randy has gone mega viral on TikTok for something fashion driven. Randy, how's it been going for you?
It's been going great. I'm viral, as Micah would say.
I did not have you becoming the authority on sundresses as something going on in 2024.
But here we are. Here I am, just knowing, hey, if you want to know what a sundress is, I'm your guy. I got everything that you need to know.
Okay, so you put up an Instagram account. I'm sorry. I was Googling something. You put up a TikTok video where you
what is your TikTok handle, Randy?
Yes.
Tell the listeners.
Here's a hard one to remember. It's at Randy Trimbacki.
So it's your first and last name together without a space.
Yes.
Okay.
Just like all my handles.
That's a good username.
Thank you.
And what? So you just saw a bunch of people saying like, "What are guys talking about with sundresses? Why are sundresses this thing?"
I saw 2 videos. When I saw 2, I'm like, all right, that's on my For You page, that's at least a trend that like I need to hop in here. And like, I didn't see, it just kept on being like, oh, guys like say like sundresses. What are sundresses? And like, what do they consider? And no one was giving them answers. Except there was like, there'd be tons of comments before, but you can't sift through all those. I'm like, all right, I'm a visual learner. I need to teach visually. And here we go.
So were you unaware of the sundress like trend meme happening?
I didn't know it was happening. I largely, I am of the generation that sees the TikTok stuff bleed over to Instagram. Yeah. I'm not on the ground floor from TikTok.
But this is well bled into Instagram territory.
Well, just in general, like I know the sundress narrative every spring. Every spring. Yeah. It's the same as the white pants narrative. Like everyone gets excited when they see the first pair of white pants going through the park.
Yeah, and I feel like the sundress thing where like spring summer rolls around and people and like whether it's like talking about sundress season or guys being excited about sundress season kind of happens every year. There's like there's even a famous How I Met Your Mother scene where Neil Patrick Harris's Barney is talking about the end of sundress season, I believe. But
a eulogy of sorts.
It feels like it caught extra fire this year as far as like trends, TikToks, memes, everything. And so Randy was he was right to jump in.
I put my 2 cents in and I got $1 out of it.
Okay. So you have been just getting notifications like crazy. You're over 7 million views.
Mm-hmm.
Have you gained a big following from this?
I have gained about like I would say 5,500 to maybe 6,000 followers.
Okay.
On TikTok?
Yeah.
Have you had any?
Can we give shouts to TikTok for actually like I don't know juicing up their users when something works for them?
Here's the thing:
of just like thwarting them and making them gain 4 followers.
I'll be honest. Instagram algorithm is very friendly to Sunday Scaries, so I'm not in a place to complain. I don't know what I've done in the world to make sure that the algorithm will be nice to Sunday Scaries, but I can't sit here and complain about it because that just seems like bad juju to me.
I mean, I think you're on another tier of shares and I think the shares, like it's so shareable. I see so many people sharing it that I think it's like kind of undeniable. Like I don't think they can.
The only thing that if people are trying to grow their Instagram account, the only thing you should look at is shares. Nothing else matters. Yeah. Like that, from my perspective, that's the only thing that you should look at.
Saves will apparently juice you on the algorithm.
That makes sense.
But shares are like, shares juices the algorithm and actually gets people, I think, to like look at your account and potentially follow you.
Sometimes I can know immediately if something's going to do exceedingly well because you can go in after 10 minutes and you can see that like 250 people have saved something. And I'm like, okay. This is probably going to go pretty well for that. So yeah, that is a good indicator as well. Randy, have you gotten any young ladies in your DMs maybe interested in having a date with you at a sunny patio somewhere?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
It seems like it's weird on TikTok. Like if someone's trying to start a conversation with TikTok, they send you a little wave emoji. Like it's like say hi to this person. So I got like 30 DM requests that's just like the wave emoji. I'm like, am I supposed to like say hey and wave back? I don't know. TikTok is still very much a young person's thing where I don't understand everything, but I understood that this was going to be.
You should have tagged the end of this video with like, I don't know, just a little note that you're ready to mingle with the sundress set.
So like, hey, so if any of you young ladies want to go hit a patio,
Yep,
sundress,
just let me know.
I'm ready.
All right, so Randy, continue the story. The sundress thing. People were out there confused about what a sundress is.
I think that so many people have different opinions on what a sundress is, but like, I think guys have a very specific, like the one that I put here. I'll put it back on the screen. This is what I always consider a sundress, and like whenever I talk to my friends, this is what we consider sundress. And I think it was just mainly that men always said that they like sundresses.
Yeah.
And like, so there's girls were on like, all right, wait, hold on. What do you guys consider sundress? Because whenever I ask one of my guy friends, it's like
they get a different answer.
They get a different answer, or like it's an answer that's not, in line with what they were thinking originally. So I just went out there and put it.
I will say, I think that the guys, when sundress season comes around and the men are out there and they're talking about it again, I think in their mind, they've got like, I don't want to say slutty, but like a more risque version of sundresses than like what is like maybe most mainstream. Does that feel accurate?
No, they're picturing some TikTok or some like TikTok or reel where it's like some girl that looks like she is the hot daughter of a farmer, and she's like in a field with a big basket of stuff, and she's like spilling out of her dress. Like I think that's I think that's where like the maybe like the childhood version of it starts to brew, is like the fantasies from like a Billy Madison movie or something.
It's the country music sundress.
Yeah.
The country music video sundress.
Yeah, like Dukes of Hazzard, Jessica Simpson stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I think that's where guys are really, really dipping into when they're thinking about it. Like no guy is going to go up to a girl wearing one of the sundresses that Randy put up there and have any confidence. And they're going to have shake voice being like, hey, I like your sundress?
Yeah. Okay. So Randy, where did you go about sourcing your imagery for?
Randy, where'd you go about?
Yeah.
Of course, the retail therapy fans will hear now. I just went to Google Images, and like I mentioned in my my TikTok video, that yes, pretty much all of my images I use were from Shein. they have great SEO.
They probably do have great SEO.
I was just out there just trying to make the content. I wasn't gonna. I'm not buying their stuff, so is it non-climate friendly? Just use their images? I don't know, but it was just easier just because they had some great examples. They were exactly what I was thinking.
I mean, I know you in your second video where you're settling a debate between cultures. You asked Skims for the bag. I think you should be asking Shein for the bag, Randy.
Yeah, it's true.
I should be.
They're probably more likely to offer it.
That's true.
So I've pulled one up here on Revolve. Like this is kind of what I have in mind.
Yeah.
And I feel this is way less like scandalous than some of the things that I think the manosphere, as it were, are like kind of like tossing around out there as what they're looking for, hanging at Parlor and Yard or whatever.
But this still has the basic components of
it does.
I
agree. Yeah. Just less. I mean, less boobs, I guess.
Yeah, you have a little more on the shoulder here too.
Yeah.
So it's I saw people like commenting like, so the shoulders were a real problem for you guys in high school, huh? So there was a reason for that dress code. Got a kick out of
just
that.
H on the TL from a couple of shoulders, huh?
Yeah.
Randy, did you see the SNL sketch making fun of Shein?
No, I have not.
It was good. It was good.
Yeah.
Highly recommend.
Well, Randy, congrats on going Vi.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you,
big.
thank you.
It's big for everybody.
It really is. And I think maybe we mentioned off mic that somebody even mentions retail. Retail therapy gets a mention on a TikTok, on a comment on TikTok. So that's huge for us as well.
We needed that.
Yeah.
We needed that. We needed the nod.
Yeah.
Should we move on?
Sure thing.
Congratulations, Randy.
Everyone wear sundresses this summer. We'll have a great summer.
Bromakase. Bromakase. I was not familiar with this term, but when I saw it, it was one of those moments, Barrett, when you see something and you're like, oh, that is just right in retail therapy's lap right now. Thank you so much for writing this column. I would love to talk about this. And as we dipped into the New York Times Bromakase column, it's very Austin-centric.
It's very Austin-centric.
And I think that I'm actually happy that it is, because I think that Austin is a great use case to talk about what's going on here. I would say everyone's been to an omakase dinner. Not everyone's been to an omakase dinner. I've only been to one in the last like year, and I don't think I've ever been to one before that. But omakase is just like in a Japanese establishment, a place where they kind of just make the meal and hand select everything for you and do it.
Yeah, you don't have to order.
Yeah,
it's a you may know it by another name, prefix essentially, right? Like it's
is it prefix? I never know what to say.
Prefix. I don't know.
I don't fucking know, dude.
Well, would it be retail therapy if we weren't mispronouncing stuff left and right all day long over here?
People say price fix too, and then like they say like there's all these like ways that people say it. I never know what to do.
The X that always confuses me because then you get over to the Cajun stuff and it's like, you know, like you're making a gumbo, you got to start with a roux.
Yeah,
that's R-O-U-X.
Yeah,
you don't say the X.
Yeah. Either way,
but yes, if you've seen price fix on a menu in the French in the French terminology, that's basically what you're getting here too. Except for typically on the former there, you're seeing kind of what's coming. On an omakase, really you're just like, here we go, and they start bringing you stuff.
Yeah. Which I wouldn't say I'm like super adventurous or anything when it comes to what I'm eating all the time, but there's very few things that I won't try if I'm at a restaurant that claims to have good stuff.
And I think that one of the most fun things about omakase in a Japanese spot is that like it sets up so perfectly because it takes like. They're going to give you the freshest fish. They're going to give you, like there's so much to choose from when you're looking at a Japanese sushi menu, whether, nigiri and sashimi and the rolls and the cold plates and like it's kind of overwhelming. So I think it's just well suited for Japanese dining because it takes the decision fatigue out of it and you just know that you're going to get the good stuff.
Well, like what happens with pretty much everything, bros have rolled in and ruined it. The bros have ruined it again. It says, in many ways, the Bromakase has taken aspects of the high-end American steakhouse, excessive tabs, conspicuous consumption of premium meats, and a masculine expense account atmosphere, and it's given them a modern, worldly gloss. The portions are smaller, but the prices make it possible to spend even more money, even more quickly. These new school omakase restaurants have two big things in common with many of their forebears: high prices and limited seating. In fact, 3 of the 5 most expensive Michelin-starred restaurants in the United States are omakases, including the most expensive Masa in New York City, where dinner for one at the counter is $950, not including tax or drinks.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, once you start to go down this road, like, yeah, the way that they described it as being kind of expense account feeling, like, I get it. We did expense the last time we did something like this. So I can't really refute that. The closest thing that you and I have done to it is probably when we did Pasta Bar in Austin.
Yeah.
Which was very decadent and like different than your normal omakase. Like, I feel like when you're doing, like, if you were at a sushi spot, you're going to get a bunch of rich food, whereas we were at an Italian version of it, which was giving us like the richest of rich food.
Yes.
And so like there is something weird. Like Austin has really good steakhouses, and Austin also has really good sushi restaurants. Like we're in a very nice spot to have a melding of both, I'd say. Mm-hmm. But like you do have those moments when like anytime a blowtorch gets busted out table side, it's like, oh, we're going pure decadence now, and not like we're not being tasteful about it anymore.
Yeah, so the one of the main spots that they reference in the article is Sushi Bar ATX, which I've been to once. I thought it was amazing. I've heard
nothing but amazing things, and it's one of the top restaurants I would like to go to in Austin that I haven't gone to yet.
Yeah, it was the most expensive dinner I've ever paid for, and while there were no it's like a 12-seat spot, so there weren't like. It's hard to be super bro-y in a steakhouse way in a spot so small.
Yeah.
But the vibe that I think that they nail here is the kind of like the opulence of it.
Yes.
Because we were listening to the folks like around us talking, and there were 2 different couples who were talking about how they'd been here like 4 times in the last couple of months.
Okay. Yeah. It's a flex.
And it's a flex. That's an insane flex. And it is so decadent and it is so rich. And you finish the 18 bites or whatever it is, and then they are offering you, oh, would you like the little bonus package, which is like 3 more pieces, one of which is the Wagyu beef covered in caviar. Like there is that level of just like let's blow your mind with something that is so completely unnecessary and decadent.
Well, this says, Mr. Lee's signature moves include blowtorching bone marrow to melt over eel and painting hamachi with corn pudding sauce. Sushi Bar ATX, now a permanent restaurant under the direction of Adept Hospitality, also offers luxe add-ons like Wagyu beef topped with caviar at $20 bite, which along with shaved black truffles and foie gras are now de rigueur? I don't know what that means.
Of the moment, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I need to figure out how to say that and drop that in a casual
Maybe
dinner party
I'm wrong.
conversation.
I better look that up.
Yeah, don't mess this up. But like it takes like the fresh component that you were kind of talking about out of it. It takes like, even if the stuff is fresh, it's so decadent that it masks the qualities of the food that you would associate with being fresh because it tastes buttery or rich or whatever it is. For example, and I don't want to. I'm not talking poorly about Pasta Bar, but at the end of the meal, they gave us a scoop of vanilla ice cream with olive oil and caviar on top of it. Mm-hmm. And after eating such a rich meal, that was what really put me over the edge, where I was like, this is too rich for me. Like, this is not going to settle well for my stomach right now. And it's just so much. Like, I don't necessarily need to go to a steakhouse or a Bromakase restaurant and have the richest of rich. It's a little too much for me at this point.
Pasta Bar, Sushi Bar, they're awesome, and I would go back to both. You just need to like not eat the for the full day, basically.
Yeah. When I went with you, it was the second time I had gone, so I kind of knew. Okay, well, there's, even though they've switched up a lot of the dishes, there's still a couple dishes that I know they're going to serve because it seems like those are the ones that they really hung their hat on. And going in again, I knew like, okay, Will, you ate all of this last time. It was way too much. Maybe stay away from it a little bit. But it's like, I don't know. I would feel weird inviting people to go to something like this in Austin because it is so pricey that I would like want to know that they'd be down to throw down for it. Or we all have some common thing that we're celebrating, or it's like a birthday celebration. But I don't feel comfortable inviting anyone to a dinner like this without clearing it first, or without knowing like, oh, Barrett and Laura are like obsessed with this and they really want to do it. We got to invite them.
Yeah.
They say, one person quoted in the article said, I think it's a bit of a flex from people's social currency standpoint. It's cool to be in a place where other people can't get in, and sushi photographs very well compared to a large, dark piece of meat. And I have to say, I do think that the social media aspect of this has something. Like, whenever you see someone go to a restaurant like this, it's somewhat likely that you'll see them putting up like 8 consecutive stories explaining what they did. You almost need to get the social currency out of it when you pay so much to go sit down at a restaurant like this.
Yeah. Here's a quote from the article. Bobby Kim, whose Instagram handle is The Uni Hunter, learned to appreciate Japanese food while growing up in Hawaii and omakase as an adult in New York City. To her, a new generation of restaurants are omakases in name only. Quote, this might sound very harsh, but there's been a bastardization of the experience, Ms. Kim said. My friends and I call them fomakase.
There you go.
And there you go. The one thing that I will say is that, like, Sushi Bar, you're getting the fish, you're getting the nigiri, but like we've been talking about, it's got all this extra, all this additive, all this flavor. And it is definitely, it is not the same as going to like a true Japanese restaurant for traditional omakase, which is the star of the show is the fish. Mm-hmm. That's what they like pride themselves on, is the fish, not like how they can kind of add to that fish to make it taste interesting or rich or whatever else it might be.
Yeah.
And so you're getting a lot less, like at those more traditional spots, you're getting less of a show basically. And I think that especially like with Sushi Bar and Pasta Bar, that the performance aspect of it, like it's reminiscent, like there's a piece of it that feels like the menu.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, there's a journey that you go on.
Right.
You get to see what they've been working on all day. You get to see them making it in front of you. You get to see it all. It is cool to see the story of the meal like kind of unfolding in front of you, and you get the smells of other things that they're making in the kitchen. It's really cool. I mean, the first nod to this was in an article about I think it's called Nakazawa, a restaurant that was used in Billions, and it says Before long, after the Billions appearance, it said, before long, you saw or heard stories from rich young men, they were always young men, acting like the Cretan on Billions. These Bromakase patrons must be the reason Nakazawa's chefs and servers now warn you at the start of the meal to eat every piece in one bite and never top sushi with pickled ginger. Because I have not seen the scene in Billions that they're talking about, but apparently someone's just sloshing around a piece of sushi and some soy sauce, and they're just disgusted by it.
Doing the wasabi, yeah.
But like to what you were saying, that it's like in name only, the quote that I liked the most from the article was, when it comes to Japanese cuisine, restraint is what you want to achieve. It's not hard to put truffle and caviar and foie gras on everything. And I think that's really the line is like, are you trying to blow people's minds with decadence, or are you trying to blow their mind with just like a very genuinely impressive piece of quality fish or meat or whatever? And a lot of the time, that's what you would want. That's what I would want to get out of it. Is I would like to taste something that I'm not going to taste anywhere else, just because, and not for reasons of decadence, for reasons of freshness and like local quality.
I'll say this, Will. I think what this article is saying is really interesting. Got a lot of valid points. The petiteness of the dining rooms at a toko, sushi bar, whatever else it might be, they do kind of curb that bro-y nature.
Yeah, the party boy does not come out as much.
Yeah. So my question for you is, if you wanted to put together the most opulent, throwing down the company card here in Austin for a bunch of bros to just bro down, where are you taking the fellas?
Just any place, not a Bromakase spot.
No, not a Bromakase. Yeah, where are you getting your Bromakase on, regardless of whether it's an Omakase or not?
That's a good question. Okay. The first one that jumps off the page to me is ATX Cocina.
Okay, that's a good one.
ATX Cocina has a broy vibe. It puts you out to a perfect spot in Austin to go hit the town.
Yeah.
It's high end, but it's good food, and they really like to talk about how good the meat is there.
Okay.
And it is good. It is really good. But like dudes love getting some good meat.
I feel like you're encouraged to have a very good time there, if you know what I mean, as well.
Yeah. They lean into the broy nature of the scene.
They're gonna let you order 3 margaritas.
Yeah. They don't care.
What came to mind for me is Red Ash.
Okay.
Which I feel like is like hybrid steakhouse with an Italian flair. But just feels like it's just a masculine spot.
It's because it feels like you're in a warehouse. It's like they're like, and it's not like a slight at it, but like you don't feel like you're in some like cozy. You feel like you're in a downtown warehouse that was converted into a steakhouse, and you're getting the decadent opulence here.
You
Jay
are.
Carver's.
Yeah, Jay. That's another right. The sister restaurant of Red Ash.
Jay Carver's
honestly
might be perfect for this.
Yeah. Because that's actually the best answer.
That's where they will break out the bone marrow and just drip that onto your plate without you even asking.
Also, Jay Carver's, I am 99% positive that like the design was influenced by like STK in Las Vegas.
Probably.
Like it feels like a Las Vegas restaurant.
The last time I went to Jay Carver's, I sat in the bar area at a table, like a booth.
Yeah.
And we were butted up right next to the private room. The private room was filled with a bachelor party where they were clearly doing drugs in the room. And at one point during the dinner, 2 ladies walked in. One of them had a handle of vodka sticking out of her purse. And she walked directly into the private room before I saw a waitress leave and start like yelling at a manager being like, we need to kick all these people out. They simply evacuated the vodka from her purse and then gave it back to her when she left the restaurant.
That's nice,
which I thought was a nice touch from them. Yeah. And that just shows what they're willing to put up with. Like if they're willing to put up with like 2 girls that are clearly not with the group just walking in with a handle, like they're going to let you get away with a lot.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. I could use a Bromakase sometime soon.
Mm-hmm.
We should just have much like Sally's doing like mahjong and stuff like that. I think I need my Bromakase nights.
I mean, Sally is known to have I'm not quick enough on my feet today to come up with the girl version of Bromakase. But she does Bromakase with the girls.
Yeah.
Well, she's got her. They go out. They do the thing.
She goes out.
We never do that.
No, we don't.
I tried to get you to do this last night with me at Howard's, but it was probably too short of notice.
I could not do last minute Howard's. I've been going through it lately.
Yeah.
This week's been. I'll say this. The week after going to 3 consecutive Dead shows at the Sphere, it's not the best week to re-enter the world.
Okay.
While it's probably the best I've felt leaving Las Vegas in the history of my trips to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Just the brain function wasn't totally firing. And after eating decadent meals in Las Vegas for 3 straight days, the system was a little shocked.
What was the best meal you had in Vegas?
My favorite meal was a place called Komodo at Fontainebleau. The night before, we ate at a place called China Club and did the Peking duck.
Okay.
We did some dumplings and stuff like that. And that was incredible, but I was so anxious to get to the Sphere that I couldn't enjoy anything and I couldn't eat anything. I didn't know logistically how long the lines would be, if we were going to be in traffic and stuff like that.
And that was truly opening night, right?
Yeah. And so at that point, I couldn't enjoy it, but I think that was the favorite of the people that I was with.
Okay.
But at Komodo, I'd eaten something that I'd never truly seen before. And it was a piece of, what was it? I think it was a piece of halibut.
Okay.
And the way that it was cooked, when they put it on the table, we thought it was creme brulee. The top of it was like buttery and sheer and shiny and nice. And then when you put your fork into it, that's when it flaked off.
Wow.
And there were 2 of us there that were like, no one else is eating? Okay, we're going to commandeer this on our side of the table and go off. But those 2 restaurants for me were the highlights.
Sounds like you had a little Bromakase.
It was a little bit Bromakase. Yeah. There were some rounds of espresso martinis getting ordered to top off the meal. Before we move on, let's hear from our friends over at Shopify, the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business, from the launch your online shop stage to the first real life store stage, all the way to the did we just hit 1 million order stage? Shopify is there to help you grow. So whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor outfits, Shopify helps you sell everywhere, from their all-in-one e-commerce platform to their in-person POS system. Wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify's got you covered. If you have ordered something from Retail Therapy or Sunday Scaries this year, I got some news for you. It's coming from Shopify. If we use it, you know that we trust it. And you can sell more with less effort thanks to their Magic AI. It's called Shopify Magic. It's their new AI-powered all-star. But they just have so many different tools that you can use to shop and to sell. They've got the best converting cart in the nation right now. So many other brands use it, from Allbirds, Rothy's, Brooklinen, millions of other entrepreneurs across 175 countries. I'll say this. If you're starting something up and you want to sell, Shopify is the only way to go. Go do it. They have award-winning help, and it's there to support your success every step of the way. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/scaries, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/scaries now to grow your business no matter what stage you're in. Again, shopify.com/scaries. A couple episodes ago, I mentioned that I was going to do a little write-up on the newsletter about some golf brands. And when I woke up this morning, I was feeling pretty motivated, and I was like, you know what? We're just doing a segment today. We're just going to make this happen. I will put this all down in a written form so that it's easier to manage everything. But right now, I'm putting Barrett to work.
Okay.
A lot of the time when it comes to golf gear, I feel stuck between dressing like a 55-year-old dad and looking like I'm sloppy on the course because I don't care enough. In Texas, we're kind of blessed with being able to go to courses and dress down a little bit. We don't always need to dress like we're going to a high-end country club. You don't always need belt loops. You can dress a little for the heat. But I found myself just not wanting to buy the same tech material polos all the time. I mean, I love Rowback as much as anybody, and I wear Rowback when I go to these courses. But sometimes there's people that want something that's more high fashion, a little different. They want to zig when other people zag. And so I've established several golf brands right now. And I don't think we're going to go through all of them, but I think we can at least hit some of my favorites on here.
Okay.
And just kind of talk about them and enlighten some people who might be looking for this kind of thing. The first that we'll start off with is my favorite of the bunch. It's a very new company called Gumtree Golf and Nature Club. This was started recently by, I'm going to botch his last name. His name's Karsten Yerkshat. I don't know.
That sounds right.
He and I follow each other on the socials. We missed each other in Austin recently trying to meet up for a little golf action. But I love this because it's got a very Sunday Scaries vibe, just from like, if I created a golf brand, I would want it to be exactly what he is doing here.
Yeah.
I own a shirt from them that says, it's the one right there, lose your ball, find yourself. That ethos just from that alone is something that I enjoy. But a lot of what they do is sustainability driven. It's very earth driven. It's very mental health driven when it comes to portraying golf as not just like a game to play to, improve and get new equipment and stuff like that. It's a game that you want to go out and take a walk, get out and escape stuff. But they just have it's a very new company, so there's not a huge line of stuff going on. But I mean, from a Sunday Scary standpoint, you really can't find anything more on the nose than this. They just put out some new head covers that are all handmade in Scotland, made out of, I think, like potato sacks, essentially, by some Scottish dudes. But it's really just cool. Have you seen
farm seed head covers?
There you go. There you go. I'm a big head cover guy. For some reason, when it comes to golf, I like looking at head covers a lot. I like seeing like the repurposed materials, the tartans, the wax canvases, the everything. It's just a fun thing. Is there any on here that you've heard of that you're like, oh, I like these guys?
Yeah. So the one that stood out to me was I'm calling it Manners.
That's what I think. I mean, yeah, I think that's what it is.
This one I recognize because spots like Essence are carrying Manners Golf.
Oh, they are now.
Yeah.
That's good to know because
so it's definitely kind of started making its way into it's gone beyond the niche kind of like startup version of some of these golf brands and is like making full on kits and product, right? Like
they're good.
Your note here is that it is still technical, and it's one of the interesting things I think for a lot of these golf brands is to kind of like some of them kind of seem to want to be fashion or streetwear brands, kind of couched in golf culture.
Yeah,
but they're not really. When I look at a lot of them, it's like what I can wear on course is like the hat. But what Manners is cool because they are actually doing like the technical type of dry fit stuff that I want to wear on the course. Not that you can't wear cotton on the course. You can. Cricket polos, for example, here in Austin, like does great cotton polos if you like the old school look. But I'm not even seeing polos from a lot of the brands.
Yeah,
you know
they'll scale it down and do like the collarless thing,
or just t-shirts or hoodies, and like not to be an uber traditionalist here, but like I want a polo for the golf course.
Yeah,
I want a collar.
Even if you're not a traditionalist, there's still the feeling that when you walk up to a nice golf club, or any golf club really, that you don't want to be the outlier that is just dressed completely inappropriately. Like if you just show up dressed like Jason Day's dressing lately, the old heads at the golf club are going to look at you and be like, okay, who's this guy? He better be a player. He better know how to play out here. And it's just kind of uncomfortable. Manners straddles the line really, really, really well for me. Maybe better than any of the other people on this list.
And that's probably why they've really kind of permeated the scene, because they are doing, like, here I've got the t-shirts pulled up. Like they're doing cool graphic tees as well. They're kind of they are riding both sides of it, which I think is the right spot to go if you want to sponsor a pro someday, but also like have the hype boys buzzing.
Manners, if I had like an unlimited amount of money to go spend on like golf gear, I would probably go off on Manners right now more than a lot of the other things on this list. Not that I wouldn't talk about these other companies if I didn't like them, but Manners just has it, and I enjoy it. The next one I have is called Sugarloaf. These guys are truly like OG original. Hey, we're tired of the standard golf stuff. We want to go with something else. But these guys are a lot more accessory and equipment driven, and they just do regular drops. And something I like about Sugarloaf is that they really just champion smaller courses, your munis, stuff like that. And so they're a little more fun. It's not as like Manners is much more like almost quiet luxury feeling, as opposed to Sugarloaf is much more almost like Caddyshack, classic golf feeling. And I like that about it. It's just cool. Like their products are a little brighter. They have a lot more color involved in them. But whether you're looking for hats, new golf grips, visors, stuff like that, they always do regular drops, and they're always something that I try to look at, even if I'm not going to buy anything. Have you seen them before?
I've heard of them, yeah.
They've been around for a really long time. I think I started following them very early on in their like journey, and you can still see a lot of their old products on here, but they're just really cool. Another one is Sentinel Golf Works. Sentinel is a newer one to me, but it's one that I've really kind of liked. I'd say that they're similar in vibe to Manners, but these guys are much more driven by equipment and accessories than they are anything else. Your bags, any accessories that go with the bag, golf towels, hats, just things like that. But it's like, it's dialed in. It's good materials. It's just cool. Like,
yeah, they've got a lot of bags. Like really going hard on the bags, which look cool. Golf bags and duffels alike.
A lot of golf companies have cool duffel bags and things like that go along with what they're doing. Sentinel is one that I have not ordered anything from, but like whenever I see them on my feed, I always try to make a mental note like, ooh, that's good. Like I'm just looking here. They've got, oh man.
Yeah, this stuff looks really rad. I like what I'm seeing from them. This is not one that I was familiar with.
We have.
Hey, isn't this one of the chairs that you want?
Yeah, I just saw that and bookmarked it on their Instagram page because I'm like, I'm desperate for a nice folding chair that I can put in my front yard right now that I can just pick up and call a day. Another one is Local Rule. It's at Local Rule on Instagram. I believe it's a Swedish brand. Yeah, born in Sweden. And it's kind of similar to your Manners. It's a lot more like toned down, clean lines, like just very, very clean golf stuff that you're not going to get called out for looking like totally out of pocket when you're at a golf course.
You might get called out for wearing cargo shorts on the golf course.
Yes. Yeah. I will say that like you can't be wearing cargos on the golf course unless you're Jason Day right now.
This even has like some of this up top almost reminds me of like Snow Peak. This feels very Japanese, and I could see the Japanese flexing some cargos on the golf course. You know what I mean?
This is the type of like I would wear these cargos not on the golf course.
They've got the kind of swag to just go out there and pull that off.
Yeah,
but
yeah. I would wear these not on the golf course on a hot Texas day.
Yeah.
No problem there. I've got two golf bag companies that are pretty well known, Mackenzie and Jones. I think they actually did a bag together recently. But if you're looking for a bag that's not your typical Ping or TaylorMade stuff like that. The Mackenzie bags are very expensive. They're extremely high end. It's really Scottish vibes, and the bags are all. I think they're all put together in Oregon. And then Jones is another golf bag company that's a little more polarizing, I'd say. Like my group text is very split on who likes Jones bags and who doesn't. They've put out some newer versions of their bags this year that I think are really good looking. And if I needed to buy a bag right now, which I kind of do, Jones is probably the place that I'd go. I've seen good reviews from their bags. They do have a weird magnetic pocket on one of the bags. That just seems a little...
Why are the Jones bags divisive?
I think it's because they're just not your classic like Ping hoofers and stuff. I think they just have a little too much style for the classic golf heads out there.
30% off Jones MDW.
Yes. Yeah. Don't tell me that because I've already purchased some new golf shoes. I got some of the shoes that I think I talked about on this very podcast.
Yeah. Did those come in?
They did. They're very comfortable. I've officially learned that even though you dubbed Nike as possibly being out earlier this year, I have learned that Nike's 10.5s are the most consistent thing in my life right now.
Yeah. No, I as mentioned, along with putting Nike on the out list, I'm a Nike loyalist. I still that's my shit. It's hard to let them go. I just wish that they were doing a little more.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it.
But with golf, I think they're still doing a nice job.
I have a brand new company called The Honorable. It's much more classic golf influenced, much more like if you have any friends out there who are playing with wood clubs, if they're going back in the day and doing that, like this is the brand for them. It's just kind of upgraded, more current versions of what you'd see on like a Payne Stewart, like a old school kind of golf head type. And then from there, I've got Seamus, which is just an incredible head cover company. If you look at my bag, I think I have at least 2 in there at all times. They're just really cool, redone, cool fabrics, just an impressive line of just a million different things. They created probably the greatest shoe that I've ever seen from a golf company.
Seamus?
Yep. Barrett, I'm going to have you type in Seamus Nike in your browser and bring up the shoe. The first shoe that should pop up for you will be a Nike on StockX that's currently retailing for about $1,700.
Okay.
Have you found this?
Is it the Air Zoom Victory Tour?
It is.
Yeah.
This is my favorite golf shoe ever produced, and I had the opportunity to buy some when they were initially released, and I didn't do it because I didn't want to spend the money on new golf shoes at the time, and I figured, they'll be around. They're just perfect. You can't see it very well.
What did these retail for?
Like $200, maybe $220 or something around there.
Wow.
But they're just a classic silhouette. Like the inside was done with like this almost, I don't even know if it was actual material from Pendleton, but it's a very Pendleton looking inside material. But like the second that these went out of stock, I just thought like, you're an idiot. You would have had these forever and loved them.
And now they probably made so few of these. That's why the price is so high. It's just because there's probably 4 pairs of these dead stock left.
Exactly.
Ever.
And when I was actually online the other day, and one of the guys that was involved in designing these, he put up like he couldn't believe that these are selling for this much at this point. Like it's just, they're the coolest shoes ever. But
they're pretty sweet.
I botched it. You had one on here. Whim Golf. I'm not familiar with Whim.
Yeah, Whim Golf is one that's been around for several years now, and there again, they were like, I think one of the spots that I discovered them was on Notre's website, a little cool shop out of Chicago, and I mean, you know, they're doing similar stuff to some of these other brands that are on the list here. It is some technical stuff, but it also leans like very much like 19th hole. Like you can wear this on or off the course, but
yeah, they've got some cool product.
But it's still quite appropriate for actually playing 18 as well.
Their stitched together Masters hats are wild.
Yeah, so I'd never seen those before until I just popped them onto this list. Those are sweet. Those are very, very cool. I'll pull one up here in just a sec. And they're also very expensive.
So yeah, $250 for a hats.
Yeah,
nothing.
I don't know if these are just like a third party from this creator listed, Mary Shelley Masters Cap by Kozaburo, or if this is a collaboration with Whim.
I don't know.
But definitely another good one, I think, along with Manners to check out if like you want actual stuff to wear on course, but you just want it to be not Nike or Adidas or TaylorMade or whoever else.
The last one that I had is probably the most hype one that I have on here.
Yeah,
I wouldn't wear much of this on the golf course, but it's definitely a golf brand with, you know, golf centered stuff, and it's called Metalwood Studio.
Yep.
But this for me is probably the most like hype feeling one, like the most Soho feeling, the most like ALD driven, like very. Thank you, Randy. Great work there, Randy. You're just firing lately. But it's just a lot more like just. The old guys at the course are gonna not like what you're wearing.
Yeah, I mean, I know about Metalwood because Larry on Throwing Fits wears the camo hat all the time, and now so does Jake Wolf, and like it's Soho. I listen to Throwing Fits coded.
Yeah,
and I like it. I'm into all the camo thing, like the brush camo and the real tree stuff that's happening out there right now. And I thought about picking one of the hats up when I saw one pop up on some shop that I follow, and I just decided that there's already too much connotation with Metalwood.
Okay,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I have my own podcast, therefore I can't look like a stan of another podcast.
It's true.
Do you know?
It's true. Right? Yeah, I get it.
And so I couldn't go. I appreciate what they're doing. You described it exactly right. This is. I think kind of like has essentially come in and over the top and like put themselves above Malbon as far as like the hype golf brand.
Mm-hmm.
It's the most streetwear, I would say. And do they even like, do they make a polo? I guess this says shirts and polos.
Yeah, but there's not much.
I'm not seeing any polos.
There's not many polos. It's mostly t-shirts.
This right. So take a scroll through here and like, is this a golf brand or is it just a streetwear brand?
Yeah, it just feels like a streetwear brand that says, hey, I also enjoy golf.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's exactly right. And some of these others kind of, you know, are in that same lane to me. And honestly, that's where Malbon started as well, is bucket hats and golf balls and then t-shirts and hoodies. And now obviously they've graduated into to making.
How have you felt about the Jason Day stuff?
Yeah. I was answering some listener questions on @retail.pod.
Did you know that?
On Instagram.
So I didn't know when you were answering all those, because of the way that I had everything set up, it was posting all of your answers to that to my personal Facebook story. And I had a friend reach out and she's like, "Are you doing an AMA on Facebook right now?" I was like, "No, I'm not. I don't know what you're talking about."
Okay, we should probably look into that.
I remedied that. I remedied it.
All right, good. Sorry about that.
No, I log into Facebook so irregularly that it was like, yeah, I'm not. It's not. It doesn't matter.
Okay. Did you have to fix that from the Facebook end or could you do it from?
You could do it on Instagram.
All right. That's my B.
Yep.
But yeah, so I answered a question in regards to what Day has been doing on the course. What I like is that it's different than what anybody else is doing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a bold move to put him out there and like an old school looking 90s like linen shirt and baggy ass linen pants.
Yeah.
And then I think for those of y'all out there that really like the look and are responding to what Malbon's doing, the awesome thing is that that's super easy to replicate without buying a single piece of Malbon.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He's basically just wearing like normal dad clothes, but in a golf context,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not the sharpest look to me.
Yeah.
It's almost too retro in some of its like bagginess and some of its look. But like I said, I think I think overall it's a net positive for me because they are putting something out there that doesn't look like what everybody else is wearing.
I don't disagree. Like I don't agree with every single outfit that they script for him, but I do appreciate the effort. I like to see something on the course that's a little different, and I like the conversation around it because I think more than anything, golf style and golf fashion needs to have that conversation around it. Like golf is becoming a very unapproachable sport in the United States just based on price and popularity.
Yep.
And it's not like that in other countries. You can go to other countries and play golf for a very cheap rate at a lot of really nice places. And it's just
we're fucking up all sorts of stuff.
Oh yeah,
let's talk about skiing.
Yeah, we're just royally botching everything. Like we're just trying to make everything super luxury. So like to have outfits out there that aren't just like covered in, your typical like investment banking, sponsors and stuff like that. It's just cool to see people pushing the envelope and going somewhere forward as opposed to just maintaining and just being boring.
Yeah, no, this is, I've got one of the most recent ones pulled up where he's wearing like the striped camp collar button down short sleeve shirt and then the pleated baggy like linen trousers. Like this is very cool. I love that they're pushing kind of out of the tech world into natural breathable fabrics. And like I said, I mean, like if you want to look like this on the golf course, it's not very difficult.
Yeah.
You just don't wear traditional techie golf stuff.
Yeah. Just bust out the linen, bust out the party shirt.
Bust out the linen and bust out the camp collars and tuck that bad boy in and you're off.
Should we do a little cocktail hour?
I thought you'd never ask.
This might read a little articles of interest because we got a lot of stuff on here. But Tiny Drinks, Barrett, are you in or you out?
I am big out on Tiny Drinks.
This T Magazine says a number of restaurants worldwide are newly experimenting with miniaturized beverages. For some, the trend is inspired by the many cultures in which mid and post meal shots are a festive staple. For others, as is the case at Manhattan's Tusk Bar, which opened in December and offers 3 different mini martinis as oyster pairings, it marks a return to an earlier cocktail era. I will say that we are just making shots a little more bougie and forcing people to pay a lot of money to have as little amount of alcohol. This is Bromakase, but for cocktails.
Yeah, this is also, I mean, I knew exactly where the comments were going to go. And I was not disappointed when I hit that comments button because of course the top and first comments are all like, yes, and you'll still charge us $19 for these.
Correct. Which
is exactly where mine went as well. This doesn't seem like any type of cool, fun trend. What it seems like is more shrinkflation, which is annoying as shit and awful.
If somebody wants to order a round of some type of like liqueur or after dinner thing that's not getting mixed up by a bartender and not that whole thing, I will listen to that and I will do it. But I get the feeling if they're mixing up these tiny drinks like they're shots, you're still going to pay that $19.
You are going to pay a premium,
and I'm not willing to do that.
This is just all this is like, hey, I bet we can grow our margins and make more profit off of these. I will say there are two things of interest here. I do like the concept that they're talking about Amaros or mid-meal shots. And I'll shout out Yamas in Austin, newer Greek restaurant. They have on their menu Yama shot. And I just went there with a group of 6 a couple of weeks ago, and I ordered one for everybody. And they were like $8 a piece. So, not cheap, but in the realm of that seemed fair for a shot that was like a mix of 3 or 4 different things with a base of vodka.
Is that place, does it get your stamp of approval? It looks great.
Not the best response. I had some issues with it.
Okay.
I thought overall it was fine.
Okay.
And it was a fun spot. Okay. But I'll tell you more off.
Okay.
It's worth checking out.
I've been following it enough.
It was not the best food I've ever had.
Okay. Yeah. I've been following it enough that I'm like, I would like to try this place at some point.
Yeah. And the Yama shots were fun, and I was happy that those are on the menu. The other part that I found interesting about this little blurb here is that apparently after World War II, 10-ounce martinis became popular.
Damn, they were reeling after that World War.
Which is the unhinged.
We should have found that out for COVID, post COVID, and just been like, oh yeah, no, we're all going 10-ounce martinis after COVID.
Yeah, let's see. The 10-ounce martini that became popular after the war feels almost unethical to serve now, says Tusk's bar director.
You don't say.
Tristan Brunel.
You don't say.
For reference, like a normal martini these days has about 3 ounces of alcohol.
Would you be willing to do a 10-ounce soy old-fashioned?
Soy old-fashioned?
You know your boy likes watching these ridiculous reels on Instagram of cocktails getting made, and the one that I've isolated today is called the soy old-fashioned, which is 2 ounces of bourbon, 2 dashes of Momofuku Goods soy sauce, 3 dashes of orange bitters, and 1 bar spoon of simple syrup. Do you need the soy sauce in your cocktail?
I mean, maybe if you're just like an absolute fiend for some umami flavorings and mouthfeel, then this is really floating your boat. But I don't know, Will. This all just seems like clout to me.
It would devastate me to pay $24 for this at a bar. Like, I would not want to ever do that. I'm interested to see how it would taste with the soy sauce and that like extreme saltiness to it. But I also just don't know if I'm ready for that.
How much soy sauce is it?
Just 2 dashes.
Okay.
2 dashes.
2 dashes soy sauce. All right. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I would try this.
Maybe the next time I'm making it at home, maybe I'll just do a couple dashes and see how it goes.
Yeah. So 2 ounces of bourbon, 2 dashes of soy, and then your orange bitters and your simple syrup. So all they're doing is adding the soy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just adding a little saltiness.
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay.
I might have to do some investigating on this. Maybe if there's any soy sauce at a restaurant this weekend, I'll order an old fashioned and put 2 dashes in.
Yeah, just make your own.
I'll make my own
right there at the table.
It's okay. I'll make my own.
Tableside soy bourbon old fashioned.
Are we doing Cinar spritzes? Is that how you say it?
No, it is not. That's how I would have said it too, by the way. I would have said, ooh, Cinar.
Cinar.
Delicious. I was at a buddy's place this past weekend, and he whipped up a round of China spritzes.
Okay.
China.
No one's getting there with that.
He's Australian, so it sounds awesome when he says
That's tight.
And this was not something that I was familiar with. Well, Chinar is another liqueur. It's another Amaro. We're living for these things right now. We can't get enough of the spritzes. Do you know what the primary flavor profile of Chinar is?
I don't.
It's artichoke.
Okay, I can get down with that. I love some artichokes.
Yeah. This is essentially it's the spritz recipe, right? It's a little bit of prosecco, and then you add whatever your liqueur is. In this case, it's the Chinar. Club soda, and then the traditional recipe calls for a lemon wheel plus Castelvetrano olives.
Okay.
The way that he served it was just with an orange peel, no olives.
Okay.
And I was okay without the olives because this was like a hot summery, daytime drink. And I found this really, really good. The article that I've pulled up here is actually from last summer. Unsurprising, sometimes this stuff takes a year to catch on, but this was Food and Wine. Saying that the Chinar Spritz is the ugly duckling of summer. And I think that's a good word for it because it does look it looks like a Coca-Cola in the glass. And it definitely, while I really, really enjoyed this, the reason why I'm hesitant to maybe pump this up over something like the Hugo Spritz this summer as a nominee for the drink of the summer is that it does have like an herbal, almost like vegetal kind of taste to it.
Not as sweet as like a normal spritz with
not
champagne.
As bright.
Yeah.
Not quite. I still found it very refreshing. But where I really feel like this could shine is like a transitional season, like as we get like September, October.
Okay.
That's when I think the Chinar Spritz would really, really shine. But I would be lying to you if I said that the next time I make my way over to the liquor store, yes, I will be picking up Saint Germain. I'll also be probably buying a bottle of Chinar.
Immediately from the article, I can give this my stamp of approval because they interviewed a bartender from a restaurant that I've had probably some of the best martinis I've ever had from, which is Little Dom's in Los Angeles.
Okay. The other another restaurant that they clock here is Via Carrata in
there you go.
New York.
Yeah.
Who does a great version of just an OG Chin Art Spritz.
Yep. Little Dom's, I was told, had great martinis, and I've been there twice now, and both times I've had 2 martinis there each time, and they are some of the best martinis I've ever had. So I'm going to trust their cocktail program over there.
Yeah, but definitely, look, man, people are. It's the season. We're talking drinks of the summer. People were going off on the gram. A lot of votes for Lambrusco.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody posted or sent me the recipe for a white linen, which had a moment in 2017 and is now maybe ready for its return. That was appealing. So yeah, drink of the summer. The conversation continues.
A white linen. Gin, elderflower liqueur, cucumber, lime, and soda. I could do that.
Yeah,
I could do that. I could do that. I've got some articles of interest. You familiar with Scandinavian sleeping?
I'm not. Will you tell me about it?
Yeah, it's nothing crazy. Someone just tweeted, has anyone tried Scandinavian sleeping where each partner has their own blanket and no flat sheet? My partner recommended it a while back, but I didn't think it was a good idea. We slept with our own comforters last night, and oh my God, this is a game changer. Could you do this? Would this make your life better? Would it not matter at all?
Well, I think we if I remember correctly, we lie on opposite sides of the top sheet debate.
We do.
So it's an automatic no for me since there's no top sheet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have to have a top sheet.
I could see myself trying this, but I don't think we fight over the comforter nearly enough to start Scandinavian sleeping.
Yeah.
But it would be nice to be at a group dinner and be like, oh yeah, we've been doing the Scandinavian sleeping thing lately.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not to brag, but it's kind of a thing we do.
If you were like, money's no object. Like, are you having your own bedroom? Are you doing the separate sleeping thing?
No, I like the camaraderie.
Yeah,
I like the camaraderie. We watch a lot of TV in the bedroom. Yeah. I don't think I'd ever want to be like alone. Going to bed alone in a hotel room is pretty depressing at this point when I'm so used to sleeping next to somebody.
Yeah, it just feels a little cold.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, just get the king bed and make it work, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's not that hard. Barrett, are you familiar with going sober curious?
I've been hearing this tossed around quite a bit recently. Yeah.
I mean, I truly, I'm a week removed from this and I still don't really know what it means. Like, just sober curious.
It means that you are curious about going sober.
Like, isn't that just waking up the next day and being like, I don't really think I should drink today?
Yeah, I think that there's a version of sober curious that's definitely like, I went a little too hard this weekend, and now this week I'm sober curious.
Yeah, I'm a little curious about going sober for the week. Yeah, no, yeah. This person posted it was an AMA from this influencer, and someone said, "How are you feeling today?" And she said, "I'm making the most out of a rainy day in Paris. I love that the sober curious lifestyle allows for a Negroni by the canal at 4 p.m." Like, if that's the sober curious lifestyle, I'm all in. I'm all in on drinking 4 p.m. Negronis. I'm drinking 10-ounce martinis. It's just one drink. It's a 10-ounce martini.
What a zag.
What a zag. That's when people were like, wait, I could see how this would be a thing, and maybe you like only drink socially and have a glass of champagne at weddings, and you're mostly sober outside of a toast. But like, I mean, if you're allowed to do 4 p.m. Negronis, then I don't really.
Yeah. Yeah, when I bust out an ice cold Singha tonight at 7:30, I'm gonna be feeling pretty sober curious. You know what I mean?
I'm curious how I'd feel if I didn't have this Singha in my hands right now.
Yeah. This reminds me of a reel that Laura sent to me. I don't know if you've seen this, but it's a girl on TikTok /Reels describing the tiers of pretty privilege. Mm-hmm. Have you seen this?
No.
Okay. It's another thing that we can drop into the rundown if you haven't seen it. She basically goes on it's like 90 seconds long, and she's breaking down the 3 tiers of pretty privilege, which is basically like, you're pretty, but like you can use it to get things. Then the next tier is like tier 2, where people want to give you things. Mm-hmm. And then the top tier is like model tier, where like you can use this and make money off of it. And it's literally like being pretty is your lifestyle.
Yeah.
So those are the 3. And then at the end, she goes, she says like, for more from me, I'm a diagnosed psychopath, and you can follow me for all my videos about being a psychopath.
I mean, this sounds like a good follow.
It's this insane zag where I'm like, oh, okay, this is like an interesting thing that she's talking about here. She's probably going to go viral with this. And then her full on, like, her content beyond this description of pretty privilege is all about how she is a diagnosed psychopath.
Okay. Hey, as long as she's okay with it, I'm okay with it.
But it was just very like, oh, wait, what?
Huh?
It was... almost as much of a zag as the 4 p.m. Negroni Sober Curious reel.
Barrett, when you were 11 years old, what were you asking for from your parents as a gift?
Oh man, I'm so glad that this made its way onto the rundown. 11 years old, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, basketball jerseys, and
I wanted like a new skateboard
and the new Green Day CD, probably.
Yeah. Well, apparently 11-year-olds these days just want to go to Sephora and buy $300 colognes.
Yeah.
Abby Rivera, the mother of a kid named Lincoln, first thought the designer scent sounded like overkill for her son to wear in elementary school. She was surprised by his sudden interest until she heard that some of his hockey teammates had also been asking their parents about high-end cologne too. The boys are just trying to get a spritz off. Just smell good in high school.
Well, here's why I love this so much. The week before this article came out, our VP of product at Howler, who has 2 boys, one who's like a early teens now, was talking about how his older son and all of his friends are obsessed with cologne.
It's crazy.
And he was like, they're coming over to my house and they're bringing their backpacks full of cologne and they're spraying them all over the place, trying them all out. And he's like, you have to stop. I'm like, this is too much. I'm like getting a headache. And so he was describing how, and he was literally talking about how they're not into Axe or whatever in bullshit like that anymore. They want Jean-Paul Gaultier and Le Mail and like all these like crazy expensive.
They don't
YSL,
want Fierce. They don't want Polo Sport.
$300 colognes. Yes. And then like 4 days later, this New York Times article dropped, and it was kismet.
It's crazy, man. I mean, my dad for Valentine's Day growing up, my dad used to give me one of those prepackaged things from Polo, from Tommy Hilfiger that had a body wash, a cologne, and a deodorant. And like I would wear it. Like the only time I would do a spritz of the cologne was before like a school dance, but I'd be too scared to put on too much that I'd like just do like it was just a thing.
No, and I think that's the interesting thing here is that this is that's Le Mail right there, the Jean-Paul Gaultier. It's the man body vessel. Well, this is not new. Like young boys, I think this is something that and young girls too, maybe. I'm sure this is something that you get into because it's like you're learning self-care and like how to be. You start wanting to be attractive and smell good and like. These are things that like start computing in your brain. And I had a little cologne collection, like you're saying, the Polo Blue Bottle, Michael Jordan cologne,
Tommy Boy,
Curve.
Oh, dude, I forgot about the Michael Jordan cologne. I definitely had that. I didn't have Curve. Curve must have been way bigger in Texas because it was not a thing in our high school.
But Aqua de Joe.
Yeah.
There was the David off Cool Water.
Yep.
I remember.
You would have been so into $300 colognes in high school.
Yes.
You would have been obsessed with them.
And that's what I think is so interesting here is that this doesn't feel new to me. It's just that back then you were like going to the Macy's counter and these were $65 a bottle. And now thanks to Instagram, thanks to social media, making everything accessible and making all the knowledge out there and all of this push for luxury and everything like that. It's like, now they want Tom Ford private label, Le Labo, and like Yves Saint Laurent. You know what I mean? They have the access to the knowledge about the $350 colognes. So of course, why would they not want those instead of David off Cool Water at the Macy's counter?
Yeah. I think this is the Jeremy Fragrance influence. If you look him up, he's got 2.4 million followers. He's a German guy, and he's always like high energy and stuff. And all the Instagram comments are always like, "I see you did 5 lines today." It's always that stuff. But he becomes a like popular meme and stuff too. So maybe he has it. And also, his kid's wearing Vineyard Vines. That's frat.
Kid's frat. Kid's very frat. Oh, we got a Lordy.
So yeah, RIP to the parents out there that now have to deal with their 12-year-olds winning $300 bottles of cologne. Thank you, Randy.
I just love this photo of a Lordy just doing bunny ears for Bottega. Like what? I don't know where he crushed this.
He did.
Like this has such Zoolander vibes. Hit the bunny.
Dude,
hit the bunny.
Yes. That is a great call.
I will say that the sweater he is wearing looks comfy as hell.
Yeah.
I don't know why. This is just the most entertaining photo to come across my feed this week. And I just got a lot of joy out of seeing our fellow baby girl just doing bunny ears in a dope sweater.
Yeah. I mean, who doesn't love that? Lordy, he's always been a Bottega boy, by the way. So this was This was a match made in heaven, as he was announced earlier this week as the new global ambassador for Bottega.
If you could be the global ambassador for any high luxury brand right now, what would it be?
Man, that's a really good question. I think the answer to that question is also going to be reflected in my wish list ad today. I think I'm going Prada.
I think I'm going to go Loewe just to close the loop on me saying it wrong on that initial podcast and then being able to really acquire the bag.
Loewe is another excellent choice. Honestly, I think like between Loewe, Prada, and Bottega, that's probably like that feels like the top three.
I'll go with the row and hang out with the Olsen twins and allow them to style me and stuff. That'd be fun.
See, okay. This is actually going to be a really is wishlist stuff up next? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. This is going to be a perfect segue because what's nice about Bottega and one of the things that they're clearly starting to push. Alordi has been at the forefront of it, right? Is like men getting into it bags, and so with Bottega, it's like you instantly recognize that Intrecciato woven leather. You see that whether it's like the big grid style or the tighter weave. It's like. You know that's Bottega. That's their visual language. With the row, it's so quiet. How are my followers out there supposed to know that I'm flexing an it bag?
It's true. Sometimes like you see stuff in the row, and I'm like, oh, I can't believe that costs that much because it's so nondescript and like.
I was scrolling one of the stores
especially
this week and like came across like a $350 white T-shirt from the row, and I was just like, yeah, like I want to feel that and put that on just to know. But it's a white T-shirt.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I will never spend good money on a white T-shirt ever again because I will ruin it quickly.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Little article here from GQ Australia just about how Alordi has always been into Bottega. He's been carrying these bags.
He's got his Margot on him at all times.
And just baby girling out there.
Yeah. Should we do some wish list items?
Yes.
I'll let you start.
Yeah, I'll start since I just mentioned my segue. Speaking of it bags, Will, you and I both have Europe trips coming up later this summer, and there's been a lot of Europe content on my feed as we've entered into May. There's an influencer that I think we both follow. I think she's made her way onto the Scaries feed once or twice. I think that the handle is Tin VCB.
Yeah.
I have an inkling that she potentially was served to you because I was following her at
very
some point.
Possible.
Great
content.
Yeah, great content. But a very I don't even remember how I followed her. Explore page.
She's actually featured in this week's Slam's Laptop Shop.
Oh, okay. Well, here, let me see if I can pull up her Instagram real quick. But she's somewhere. I think it might have been Menorca in Spain this week, and she was posting some boat photos. And featured prominently in one of these photos were a couple of just beautiful woven straw raffia tote bags. And these are, and I feel like have been for maybe a summer or two. The kind of the summer vacation bags is bags that look like, sorry for all the butts.
A lot of butts on the screen. A lot of booties
that look like this. That look like these bags right here.
Yeah.
And look, man, the Prada one, that's the one. That's the one that I want. It comes in a bunch of different colors. It is absolutely insanely priced at $2,000 for
you got to get the ALD version for a quarter of the price
for a woven bag. But I want it. I want it, and I'm not going to get it. So don't be alarmed. I'm not about to drop the bag on the bag here. But yeah, this is the one for me. Like
if you're gonna be doing a European vacation, you need a crochet tote bag. This is the one.
The ALD one, like it's almost like I do want one. I would buy one. I think I have got a couple saved on Grailed. But like if at this point now, if I can't have the Prada, I might just go for something even lower end. At the end of the day, this is a straw bag. Like I can't imagine what these cost to produce. Like this, this has to be the best margin in Prada's entire repertoire.
Probably
In repertoire. And there's actually one that I will also link is like an alternative. It's not the nice thing about the Prada is that it's in the shape of what we call a shopper tote, and so it feels very unisex to me. Mm-hmm. There's one that I've got kind of bookmarked on Madewell that during MDW is like $65, and it's a really nice tote, but it's in more of the kind of like it just looks more feminine, as far as like carrying it around. But it's still cool, so I might just encourage Laura to get it so that we at least have like a raffia straw woven looking tote.
Oh yeah,
in some photos, because that feels like a key piece of the puzzle for me. This
summer. Does. It does. Well, I don't have any additions this week. I'm not adding anything. What are you giggling about?
I'm looking it up. They're like $9-10 on Shein right now.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Well, instead of adding stuff, I'm going to do a couple reviews for things that I've purchased off of my wish list. Okay.
All right.
Okay. I've purchased the Nike Air Zoom Infinity Tours. I did not get, unless I'm mistaken, I did not get the colorway that I linked to on the wish list. They released a new one that I got instead of the one that I originally linked to, but it's the same style shoe. I absolutely love them. They're a great golf shoe. I'm happy with spending the $190 that I spent on them. It's a very good upgrade from my last shoe, but the golf shoe game's changed, man. It like the way that it positions you and positions your weight, it like sets you back more.
Okay.
You know how like the Tom Sachs Nikes set you back and put you on your heels a little bit?
They tilt you back on your heels a little bit. It's
the same sensation as those, but way more aggressive on the golf shoes. And so that took a little getting used to. But after playing one round in them, they didn't tear up the back of my legs too bad or back of my heels too bad. I'm very happy with the purchase. If you're looking for some golf shoes, do not hesitate on those. I got 2 different pairs of Patagonia stand-up shorts in the mail after I went on a little eBay.
Yeah.
My word for the wise there is that I am between a 33 and a 34. Based on the vintage sizing, I would not go with your traditional size. Got to go up.
Yeah.
Because the 33, I would need a couple doses of Ozempic in order to get in those, and the 34s fit snug to the point where I'm definitely willing to wear them, but snug enough that I don't really want to go to a giant dinner while I'm wearing these shorts. Is there anything else I can review on here? I don't think I can. I have the pair of vintage duck camo pants from eBay. They've gone down in price, and I have the guy that's selling them just constantly. Oh, nice. They sold, so I don't need to worry about these anymore. The seller was actively just hitting me with offers all the time, and I'm like, dude, you have no idea how low I'm going to try to take you here. But yeah.
By the way, de rigueur means required.
Okay.
Prescribed or required by fashion, etiquette, or custom.
Okay.
Proper.
That checks out.
Yeah.
That checks out.
Yeah.
Well, we'll be back next week.
Oh, man. This was a great episode, but I also feel like I botched a bunch of words, mispronounced a bunch of things, and hopefully our listeners aren't just screaming at their speakers right now.
I have a request from you, Barrett.
Yeah?
I've not prefaced you with this, but I do have a question. Being that it is Memorial Day weekend, and we'll be in June for the next launch, do we need to do Summer In Out next episode?
Wow. When did we do Spring In and Out?
I think it was a while ago.
I want to make sure that we're hitting those quarters.
Let me Google real quick.
I do think that I do think you're right. I think it should be in June at some point.
I think we need to do it very soon.
Okay.
I'm just putting it on the radars out there because I think it has been a minute. Let me see.
We can look into it. You're right. It has been a minute. I guess if it was. Hopefully it was in March.
It was March 10th.
Yeah, there you go.
When we released it.
Okay.
So I think it's time.
So maybe next week or two.
I think it's time.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, keep an eye out for that. But otherwise, just get ready for that new newsletter. First newsletter ever. Cool. Sheesh.